Hello everyone and welcome to the Hints of Hisui podcast. My name is Wolf Taiko and I'm here with Kane5, Nurse Ethi, and Tomix9 Tomix.
Hello.
Hello.
Alright, so we have a couple of things to talk about in this episode.
Crazy.
Kay, do you want to start off with your first topic?
Or are
Yes,
we
I'm
gonna go
guessing
over
that-
like games
Our games.
that we've been playing, or do we just want to jump straight into it?
I mean,
'Cause
we can. Have you...
I can do
Sure.
either.
Well, mainly I was guessing, have y'all played any different games this week? Since
All I did was my sleep lock.
Yeah, you could
yeah,
talk about
that-
that, Ethi. Because also, I
should,
don't know if
yeah.
you know this. I don't know if you just like fell asleep or whatever, but like your stream just cuts out. Like the VOD just cuts out.
Only on YouTube. The
Yeah.
Twitch one keeps going.
Oh,
I
didn't
think
look
that's a
on Twitch.
YouTube thing where like once you hit 12 hours when you're under a certain like threshold, it doesn't like I see where other people can keep like 64-hour long videos and then I'm just
Wait.
like,
So did you finish then? Because I didn't even. Then
No.
I don't. Oh.
No,
No.
he
Well,
you
stopped
kinda
after...
finished.
I died. I caught Groudon
Oh, you died?
and then like I was physically I could not continue.
Oh.
So I had to
Physically, he
just I had
died,
to
not
stop.
his-
Physically
Okay.
I died.
So the
That's not- I
so
did
the
not-
Nuzlocke challenge is
Technically,
still alive,
I
just
did not
the sleep
lose
lock.
the Nuzlocke, but everything
so you could
else.
continue it.
Yeah, so you could
I
continue.
could, but I at that point
People
I've
are
already
invested.
like,
Maybe.
are people invested?
I mean, I don't know. I went to bed and I woke up and I expected you to probably have already beaten the game, but and then I checked on YouTube.
No,
and
I mean I
like-
was close, but
I mean, yeah,
there's
that's
a
a
go-
lot. It's a lot closer than I would have gotten. I would have made some dumb move and yeah.
One dumb move, one camera upped, and then suddenly, oh look at that! There goes half my team,
Yep.
Mm.
like I actively did.
Do you
Did you have any resets, Efi, or all of
No.
just one
I
run?
thankfully just had one solid run, but that
Wow.
maxi fight on the volcano.
Yeah, I was there for that. That was a
Didn't your-
tough battle for you.
Did your team
Yeah.
ever get, like, completely reset?
No, thankfully not. Like by the end, I didn't have any of my original team, but I did not get. I'd never blacked out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, sometimes for, like, my Infinity Nuzlocke, there were, like, 2 times where, like, every Pokemon except one died, and I pretty much had to restart.
Oh, thankfully not. Again, another one of those
Oh, you're a lucky
close,
man.
but
There were so many
Close,
times
but-
that, like, Nand, that was one of the first times we talked, he got into a call with me and we had to strategize, like, which areas I hadn't gone in yet to get different Pokemon to capture to rebuild, like, a good team.
Yeah.
no, I had a little bit of that, especially thankfully Crimson was there to help me and be like, okay, you can get Pokemon here. You've got Pokemon here that you haven't gotten yet. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Efi's
'Cause
just
it was,
too good.
It was bad.
But you did the Pokemon part of it. The only real challenge for you, it seems, was for staying up for way too long.
Yeah. Yeah, especially I didn't get very good sleep before. So
Yeah,
This is
Didn't
wild.
you start at like 7 p.m. or something atrocious?
yeah, I think like 5 or
Yes.
6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, because it was an hour, no, it was 5 my
You went
time,
5 my
because I
time,
remember
I
it
don't
was,
know.
yeah, an
Okay.
hour before the podcast came up.
That's right.
Because I remember right when you started, that's when the podcast came up, because it took you an hour to get ready.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that part.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
with
had
that
to
hour, you
dump
could
my
have.
s-
Could be in the game. Also, yeah, apparently our
Probably.
estimate in the last episode of 25 and a half hours was closer than we thought.
What?
Well,
I-
Efi...
I
Be-
caught Groudon in 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying 11 to 15 was my estimate.
I could have sworn that I saw you streaming for 20 hours. No, that's 12.
No. I was awake for more than 20 hours because I woke up around like 4 o'clock
That's
the night before, or the morning
Actually
before.
wild.
Also, I saw you tweet, Ethan. It's like, I had 13 hours of sleep after that. I'm like, I also had
did.
13 hours of sleep.
Bro, going back to work after this long weekend for me is gonna be horrible. I've only had like the 2, and I get 1 more hour of sleep, or night of sleep, not hour. Jeez, thank God. Before I like go back to work on Tuesday, dude, I am not gonna be able to sleep Monday night. My
Oh,
sleep
no.
schedule has been absolutely destroyed this weekend.
Yeah, no, I'm in.
I feel that though.
I'm in summer break, so I'm at my break point. Well, technically, I've been on break since like January because my classes last semester were easy, and by easy I mean like I ended with an 107 in math.
Damn.
Congratulations.
Like
Damn.
that's what I mean by this semester was easy.
What math are you taking this year?
That was college algebra.
Oh.
What college? So is that algebra 1? Is that algebra 2? Is that
It was a college class.
pre-cal? Are you like in PSEO or something like that, or like AP?
No, it was more of I'm
You're
definitely.
saying so many American words I don't know.
Yeah, sorry for non-Americans out here.
Sorry.
We're just talking
No, I'm
about our extremely convoluted school system.
Yes, no, I'm definitely gifted when it comes to math. I took like a lot of honors classes. There aren't any honors classes in this high school apparently for some reason. But no, college algebra, pretty much you take a college class and get college credit for it. But
that's
you take it
nice.
at the high school. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So-
That's
Oh,
What
really
content do you cover?
There's lots of like, not logarithms. Let me go. I can pull up my homework.
Pull up the textbook.
Oh no,
I'm
we didn't have a
curious.
textbook. No,
I
but
studied
literally it was
plenty
so
of maths
easy.
at uni.
Dude,
Because
I'm
I
s-
went over like so much, like a lot of the stuff was review, so I would just go in, get the homework, not even pay attention to the notes, just do the homework and then sleep for an hour.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you doing
that's
like
so nice.
eigenvectors and stuff, or?
Lots of system of inequations was one. There's like lots of
Eigenvectors,
sets.
I feel like is calc, right?
Yeah, no, not calc. But a lot like, yeah, algebra 2.
Sounds
a
like-
lot of algebra 2
yeah.
content.
Okay.
It's like Algebra 2 and Trig.
Okay. Okay. That
So I
makes-
got an 107 on that. Well, the thing also is he curved like a lot. Like on the final, I got a 37 out of 38. I got one question wrong. Oh dear me. But then he curved it to make it out of 33. Like,
Bro, that's
so I ended up
wild.
with, so I ended up having a 37 out of 33, which is an 112 on the final.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, that's crazy.
some of it's me smart, some of it was also the teacher curved way too much in my opinion, but it was funny because I would complain to people about this in high school. I'm like, he's curving way too much, and they were like, stop complaining.
It's yeah, and it's like for me it was always the teachers that I like didn't need the curve for like curved, and then like the teachers that I needed the curve for never curved, which like kind of makes sense because I was always like I also was stronger in like math and science, and those I feel like are the subjects that classically like do get curved, and then like
Yeah.
bro, I don't know how I can even string a sentence together. Like I was so bad in English, and like dude, my
Dude, I couldn't speak
nothing ever
English
got
until second grade. I was just trying to speak and just gibberish would come out of my mouth.
sometimes I still feel like that.
I was about to say, I'm 29 and I still do that.
Like, I just physically could not make the sounds. So, I don't know how I'm doing decently in English.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I guess I haven't really been playing any different video games for Breath of the Wild though. I'm done with all of the 4 divine beasts, so now I'm just like doing some setup before I go take on Ganon. So yeah,
Are you gonna
that'll
do
be
all
fun.
the photos?
Yeah, I do want to do all the photos. I think I'm like 6 or 7. I think there's 12 total right now. So, because I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of them are like really close as well to Hyrule Castle. So when I pull up, then I'll do those as well. But yeah, just honest. It's a really good game. It's so fun.
Yeah.
And then I hope none of you guys watched my Ash and Frost stream last night because I did rage quit at the end.
Oh,
But
Really?
No.
yeah,
the game that you've been praising. For
I mean,
the
it's
last
such a
3
good game, but
episodes.
it's like really difficult. And I literally forgot that there's like different difficulty modes, and then it's like a Reborn, like very much in the sense of like it's also like a very difficult Pokemon game. And I got into, so there's like this kind of like boss rush thing for this like one case that I'm on, which number one I think is kind of stupid personally, but that's whatever. Like I was able to beat the first battle first try, second battle it took me 2 tries to get, this third battle I've lost like 2 or 3 times now, and it's like very bullshit because it's like a multi-battle, or not a multi-battle, but like it's 2v2 where it's like me and another character versus 2 other characters. But my partner is like, his Pokemon are just like absolute ass. Like they're so bad. So I'm essentially doing a 3v6, and it's just not interesting. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I've spent like a good amount of time after the stream last night and then this morning like developing a counter team kind of idea, and hopefully that works. But if it doesn't, I'll have to move to easy mode. So yeah.
Shame on you.
Shame on me. Oh no.
Boo.
But yeah, that's where I'm at in terms of games.
I haven't played any games in the last week. Shocker. I have made progress on making a game. Different than any of the ones I've talked about before. Every day I start a new project. This is a project I've been working on for a bit, though. I'm working on it with my brother. We discussed and we have more of a general outline for the plot. It's going to be a little bit more boss rushy. It's going to have gameplay, like, action-based, similar to the, like, Pokemon Reloaded, Hito, Pivot, more that. It's not going to be a turn-based game. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to working on that. Other stuff that happened recently, I graduated. Being a junior, I'm now a senior.
Wait, so you graduated high school, or you're just now a senior?
I'm now a senior. No.
Okay.
Not in college yet, thank God.
There's a level of, I want to tell you, enjoy the high school years, but I didn't have good high school years.
Nah, I didn't
so
have any good
can't
high
tell
school
you
years either.
Oh, good. That makes me feel
I
better.
can't tell you enjoy it, but like, enjoy the free education. There we go.
True.
Enjoy the free education while it lasts, because
I may be able to
until
get
my new
to-
employer starts paying for my education,
I may be able to get 2 free years of college.
Nice.
It depends on if I get enough service hours. Which, it's funny, my college algebra teacher was like, I could totally sign off like 25 hours just because of you helping kids in college algebra.
Then why didn't you get that signed off?
Yeah, get that
I
signed
will.
off.
Because literally, it's... Part of it was I helped people with math out of my own, like, the goodness in my heart. Well, I would like to say that. No, it's more I was getting annoyed at the stupidity the people were saying around me.
Damn. I feel
And
that.
I was just like,
I've had that
I
happen to me
cannot.
too.
I'm like, I
felt
Just
cannot.
talking about us. We were those kids.
I'm just like, I cannot listen to the stupidness you're saying. Listen to me. This is how you do it. Now, do it right.
Don't get into teaching, Andy.
Oh yeah, no, I know, I'd be a terrible teacher. My mom's a teacher though, so maybe I could. And my dad's also a lawyer though, so those kind of.
Those aren't your only 2 options, Andy. You can be something
Yeah.
other than what your
Oh yeah,
parents
I
are.
know. I know.
No, yeah. If I had to be, I think I'd be like extremely. Just I'd hate my life if I had to do either of the 2 things that my parents do.
Now we did do a like faux court case recently in school, and I found it kind of fun. Maybe I could be a lawyer just because I love just like pissing with people, I
Arguing.
guess, and just being like, no, your argument sucks, and this is why, and just like You know, that was fun. Now, it was also super easy, too, because they literally... Okay, so, this is going way off topic, but whatever. In this faux court case, so this is drama class. We read, like, half of a murder mystery up to the reveal, and we had to do a court case pretty much prosecuting and defending some people in the murder mystery. And so, for prosecuting, we chose this one character, and the people trying to defend him set up this alibi. They had no witness up. They were trying to say, oh, he was at this bar, here's a bartender that proves he was there. Literally, the only question I asked you was, what day was he at the bar? His response was, we have clocks, not calendars.
With that's wild.
What?
So it's just like, I don't know what day he was there. I'm like, you're trying to establish an alibi. This is not how you establish an alibi.
That just straight up disproves the alibi.
I know.
That's wild.
So yeah, we won that.
Wild.
So, yeah, that was pretty fun.
Interesting.
Have you played anything recently, Tom?
Not really. I did open Steam and check what my recently played was. Not too much I can talk about. I played a little bit of Balatro, that's very on and off for me, just a very fun game I always come back to. Have you guys heard of Balatro?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yes. I've been
What?
meaning to
Am
get
I the
it.
only
I've
one who
just-
hasn't heard of it?
It's,
Yeah,
Pretty
It seems like
big
a
game.
kind of like poker type thing. I don't know.
Kind
Someone
of.
else should
I've heard
explain
people
it better.
describe it as like a roguelike version of poker.
Yeah, that's what kind of what it
Yeah.
looks like. I haven't just
Except
seen a
it's
ton
like-
of gameplay of it.
Wait,
You're
how
single
do you...
players, so you're not like trying to get you're not trying to get money or anything, but you have a deck of cards and you need to make good hands, and then you also get a bunch of jokers, which are like your items essentially in like a normal game that give you special bonuses, like maybe every king gives you plus 10 points.
Wait,
or
how do you spell it?
something like that.
I'll put it in chat.
Balatro.
Or I can link you the
Okay, because I tried looking it up and I got a Valor Top Com traffic analysis, and I don't think it's that.
Not quite that. It's a very fun game, and I do recommend it to pretty much anyone. I think anyone can really get into it. And I think it's on mobile now, so it's very accessible.
Ooh.
Interesting. Is it $15 on mobile too?
I imagine so, right? Or maybe even cheaper.
Yeah, I'd be hoping it's cheaper. Maybe that's just me though.
No, I get that. Okay, maybe it's not on mobile. I cannot find it. I think they're working on it, but maybe not out yet. Yeah, seems like it's not out yet. Just something in the works. It's on Switch. I know that, but. But
I'm
very
not
fun
adding
game.
that to the list, but good to know.
It seems
Yeah, it's just like
like
a nice game you can come back to.
yeah. From when I've seen it be played, like I'll watch sometimes I'll watch like Overwatch because that's like my one multiplayer game. Like the streamer will like play Balatro like in between like during queue, stuff like that.
Mm.
I think I have a video that's saved from TikTok where someone got like a number tornado because they had so many freaking multipliers that every time it
Yeah.
tried to go back down, it just kept swirling into freaking. It's wild if you get to like super high levels in that game apparently.
Well, yeah, people have broken it. So when you get really high, you start getting the exponential. So like, instead of just saying 1 million, it will say like 9 E10 for 9 times 10 to the power of 10,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big number.
Wait.
And then if you go super high, I believe it just gives up and it says like non-integer infinity.
Actually,
And you can't beat that.
actually, I think I've seen my brother
That's,
play this.
That's give him some more bytes for that number. Jeez.
Right?
Yeah. very fun game.
I'm gonna have to try it sometime.
Yeah, I'll have
Once
to
I start
talk to my
making that
brother about
good
it.
hospital money.
But I think
Okay,
that's
do you
probably
wanna-
everything we've played for our weekend then, unless anyone has anything else to say. Or week, sorry.
No. I've also
Nope, I can't think of
for
anything.
for the absolute zero of you that care, I've been watching the my basketball team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, get absolutely destroyed by the Dallas Mavericks. They're currently playing right now, and Dallas is up 2-0, and they're currently winning Game 3. So just a reminder that as a Minnesota sports fan, I can never have anything nice. Never. Over 2
I feel
decades
that.
without a championship. At least like 1 decade without like a playoff series win. It feels
You
like
sound like you're in
until-
pain, Cade.
Oh, I am
I-
in pain. I am in
I
pain.
went. I went.
I'm from
like,
Alabama. I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, your
I
college
went,
team
like-
wins the championship
Yeah.
like every other year, I swear.
Kid,
Yeah.
I would be empathetic, but let's just say the sports team that is in like the place I live doesn't really have that problem. I mean, here I can message you where I live.
No, I'm pretty sure like Minnesota, like statistically, yeah, of course. Minnesota statistically is like the Twin Cities are statistically like by math the unluckiest like sports city in the entire like US Canada region, with like all 4 or 5 of our sports teams. The only team that's won a championship was the Twins, the baseball team, and that was in 1991 and 1987 was the last time they won. So
I was
None of
even
us were even alive then.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was crazy. But we won our first 2 playoff rounds. We beat the defending champions. So like, it feels really good. And now we're running into a team that is really good. They're playing really well, and our best players aren't playing well. But sorry, enough sports talk. I know we just lost half of our viewers. I'm sorry, everybody.
I mean, at this point, is it even a fan game podcast? I mean, we talked about school.
We can talk about fan games
sports.
now. We can talk
Yeah.
about fan games now. I can talk about, or I just bring up, like literally right before we started recording this podcast, a new game released called Pokemon
Cosmo?
Cosmo, not Chronos. Cosmo.
No.
It's a different game.
Yeah, I got it mixed up too.
Pokemon Cosmo, by Wesley FG. And if you are an old head like myself, you remember that Wesley is the guy that made Pokemon Light Platinum.
I don't know what that is.
You don't even know what Light Platinum is?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
That
Guys,
is
you-
the next game you play. Like
You.
absolutely
No. I
nothing
don't-
else that we've told you to play matters. You're playing Light Platinum.
You guys
No,
need to,
honestly,
like,
I'm not sure-
Give me
I'm
that history lesson.
I'm not sure Light Platinum, honestly, has probably... I feel like it's one of those games that hasn't probably aged the best, but I'm not entirely sure. It's a ROM hack, so is Cosmo. That's also a ROM hack.
Literally the first thing I found when I looked up Pokemon Light Platinum, really disappointed by Pokemon Light Platinum.
Yeah. I know also they were
Yeah.
working on like a DS ROM hack remake of the original game, but they must have just said no to that.
I have it
But-
saved somewhere in my Twitter bookmarks.
Yeah. But this game is really interesting. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's probably one of the most beautiful ROM hacks I've ever seen.
And it has a unique like art style for the overworld sprites, which I haven't really seen in any fan game. It's always just a generational style from an official game.
I really like the perspective, or like the vibe of the last screenshot in that tweet about Pokemon Cosmo.
Yeah. And then I also did post the starters in the Discord chat that we have.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna put it up to everybody. What starter would you pick?
Water.
Fire.
Oh, well, now I feel like I'm supposed to say grass.
I'll just say grass. So
Join-
Tom, you can be the tiebreaker because I would
Join
pick
me
grass.
in the fire team.
I honestly I don't like grass type that much, but out of these
I don't like
designs,
the
I
grass
reckon
either.
grass is pretty cool.
I think the grass
Definitely
one
my
looks really
favorite
cool.
design.
It's a
I
grass
just don't like using
crocodile.
grass
Like,
types.
yeah,
Okay,
for those
but
of you,
I do
for
want
those
to
of you
give
who,
like
who
chin
don't know,
scritchies though.
or-
But the leaf on its forehead looks like it's like part of its head is peeling off.
it doesn't look that.
That's
like
called a
that to me.
leaf. I think that's a skill issue on your part, Andy.
No, it look. I'm not crazy, right? It looks like.
No, I
its
can
head
see.
is
I
just
can see how
peeling
you
off.
see that. So for those of you who probably have not seen
How
it,
about
so
I
that
just put it up on my
there's,
screen?
yeah, I mean that
True.
that too.
That's
Make
Um,
things
on your
a
Facebook?
little bit easier
There's
for people
a grass
to like
crocodile.
have a
There's
visual.
a fire.
Right
I gotta
after
be
the
honest.
episode, right
I
after
don't
the episode, we
know.
say, "Don't look in our faces."
I don't know what is that like supposed to be like a dog cat type thing for the fire starter.
To me,
Maybe
it
a
looks bland.
fox,
It both
maybe a
looks.
dog.
I don't know.
And then the water is like a teddy bear.
I like the wire.
I
The
do.
wire's
I
cute.
think the water is pretty cool as well. But yeah, this game is like new region, 150 Fakemon as well. The game looks gorgeous. Now I played like 5 minutes of it. I literally just got to the starter screen and took screenshots of the starters. That's all I wanted to do. And just send it over. But I do want to give a big shout out to Ronco. She has played this game a little bit and has gotten further than me, and she has a better idea of what's going on with the game. And I'm just gonna paraphrase some of her things, but apparently this game has like a ton of like again, the screenshots that she posted to in the
EV
chat.
Expo?
Yeah, the EV Expo chat. Just the staff one though,
Mhm.
so you can't find it. Only I can see it.
Yeah.
Aw. Damn it.
Is there are like the game is definitely like in early beta type thing. Even though it says it's complete right now, it I think there are a decent amount of bugs from my understanding.
It has all the
and we will-
content, though.
We will, yeah, we'll talk, and we'll talk about bugs later, I think. But
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too.
but another thing that apparently is really weird about this game is that the level curve and difficulty is like absolutely insane. According to Ronco, she had a team of level 10s, and the first town's gym leader, their first Pokemon, was a level 16. And she had a level 10. And this Pokemon, this was the first Pokemon, by the way, had Quiver Dance, Bug Buzz, Thunderbolt, and Thunderwave. First gym, first Pokemon,
Excuse
everybody. So, I think that's like...
The second Pokemon better have been a Magikarp with Splash, 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 and
Maybe
Cute
Tackle.
Charm.
Wait, what level was
Somehow
the second
cute-
Pokemon?
Somehow
no,
Cute
no.
Charm is
She
an
she
attack.
she only got to the first Pokemon, then lost the gym battle.
Oh.
That's all I know as of right now. And
Ooh.
and apparently the game crashed when she grinded up to level 15. I don't know. Probably
maybe-
some random bug.
Maybe Volty will, go further.
Yeah, well, Voltsy
Probably
probably is
already has.
already further. Let's be honest. Bro's a
He may be at the
madman.
end.
Yeah. And also what's really interesting is like the spriters, I think on the game all have are all characters in the game as well. Like for example, Kyle Dove, who did a lot of the spriting work, from my understanding, is like literally the player's rival.
Oh,
Nice.
like
But
that.
another disappointing thing is that the only thing that is like the only place you can find this game right now is Twitter. There's no Poke community thread. There's no EV Expo thread. It's like literally the only place you can find it. And I think that's like kind of disappointing personally, just because like where are you gonna have like discussion about the game? Like you
Yeah.
can't do
On
it off of
Twitter.
like a tweet.
But that's
So-
also not where you want discussion.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So, and
Yeah.
and another thing that I want to bring up because, it's just, I don't know, it feels kind of weird to me, is that the the reason I think a lot of people noticed this is that the developer like just followed like a bunch of people today, like
Like me.
me, and then also like Ronco. So, I don't know, very very
Oh, and me
interesting.
apparently. I didn't
Oh,
realize
come
that.
on, they didn't follow me. How dare they?
Yeah, so it's
I
just
feel singled out here.
really, I don't know. It seems interesting. I don't know if that was part of like some sort of social media
Marketing
campaign
push?
of just be like, let me follow this dude. Granted, I had already been following him or them before, just because I knew they were the light platinum person. But I mean, it's all very interesting, and you know, not every day do you get to see a fully complete ROM hack just drop out of the blue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, this person seems like they didn't really post anything about it leading up to
yeah,
Nope.
its release.
Wow.
the Apex
Like
Legends.
the Light
An
Platinum
interesting
DS
choice.
Twitter has a little like it doesn't have anything about this, but it like the Light Platinum DS Twitter was active doing other stuff.
Interesting.
This is me just now finding this out. I've been trying to find them. They were somewhere in my bookmarks.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's very well. I don't know. It's just very very interesting. I don't know what you guys think in terms of like it like. I don't know, for me, I think the rollout of this game feels rushed, but like also very meticulously planned at the same time, and I feel like that's not a good feeling to have. Like it feels like they thought enough to like go
Almost, like,
follow people who
forced.
might go like play the game or who could like promote the game, but then also like they didn't even think enough of it to like go post it on a forum or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of like a shame that it's not posted on a forum or anything, because it makes it very, very hard to search for, especially when for Twitter it's posted on. It's not called Pokemon Cosmo Twitter. It's just
And it's
the
only like
dude's
one tweet
Twitter.
about it.
Yeah, I mean,
And also,
Voltsy has a video on
Search
it
Pokemon
already,
Cosmo.
so
I mean, yeah.
go. You could probably find more about the game there than literally anywhere else.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Until I play it later this week.
But I feel like also like the mass following, to me, even though yeah, it's nothing harmful, it just feels a little manipulative to me.
I mean, I don't think
I
it's
don't know.
manipulative. Maybe,
And I guess
It's just
we don't know
marketing.
his
yeah. I
intention.
think it's a
He
form
might have
of
also just, like,
marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
But like
it doesn't
I do
like
see where
run
you're
me the
coming from.
wrong. It doesn't run me the wrong way. It just doesn't run me the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the first of its kind in terms of marketing strategy. If that's what it is, I
Choice.
personally wouldn't go about marketing my fan game that way, but it's interesting. And I don't want to like, I'm not putting words in the developer's mouth. Like, I don't know if they like specifically went and followed everybody because this is how they want to push their fan game. Like, they could have also just followed people because hey, these guys have a chance of playing my game and I want to see what they have to say about it. So
Yeah.
it could
Yeah,
be
really
one of two
Could be
things.
anything. Like, they could have just maybe been off Twitter for a while, come back and be like, oh, since I'm posting
Well,
a fan
that's
game, I
another
should
thing.
follow people in the community.
Their most previous tweet since until the tweet today announcing the fan game was October 1st, 2022. So that it's also
Yeah.
totally possible that they just were off Twitter for a while.
But also with that, I just feel like, honestly, and this I hope the EV Expo forum, like devlogs, fill the gap, because in Twitter, like, I never posted anything about, like, development, but then, like, I just did, 5 days ago from recording, and I got a lot more attention than any other post I've ever done, so it just feels weird to me to not do that if you're
Yeah.
gonna manually post on Twitter anyways.
I mean, I think that devlogs is a great way to, like, obviously it's not a feature yet, so I'm not gonna like advertise it, but it will become a feature eventually. on the site, but I think it's a great way to like keep followers updated on a game that like
They're interested in.
they're interested in. But like, love it or hate it, the Twitter algorithm will Twitter algorithm, and it will like blow up tweets. And you know that
Both the
like
good and the bad.
Yeah, the good and the bad, and the one of the ways to like gather people to follow you is gonna be through Twitter. So I don't know, has this tweet popped off? Because it wasn't even posted with like any
It's got 22K
Not
impressions.
Oh yeah, it's definitely popped off, I would say.
But
Could
like,
be
yeah,
worse,
it's
could be better.
fine.
Yeah.
It's decent. But speaking
Better
of
than
Twitter,
99% of my tweets.
speaking
yeah.
of Twitter, do you guys want to talk about the other thing before the main topic? If we get to that.
Sure. Does anyone else have anything else to add on I keep wanting to say Kronos. Cosmos. Does anyone else have
Cosmo.
anything they want to say?
I
on
guess
Cosmos?
just to sign it off on a positive note, because I think we were questioning a lot about it. It does seem like a cool project, and I hope it all goes well for Wes. I'm guessing that's her name. And I hope that hopefully a thread or something comes out just to make the game a bit more discoverable and not just seep into the armpits of the internet.
Yeah, like the game looks
Lovely
fantastic,
internet.
and really the only reason I'm like a little, I'm not saying I'm down on the game, but the only reason I'm questioning it a little bit is just that, you know, I've heard reports from people who have played it so far. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I definitely would recommend checking out this game just based off the visuals alone. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it's a ROM hack for you ROM hack enjoyers. Because ROM hacks don't come out every day either.
No.
No.
Yeah,
But
so
also
I
be
guess-
nice if it would just download already. I've been trying to download it this entire time we've been recording.
I did get the game downloaded if you do need it, but
yeah, speaking of like criticism, since we've been criticizing it, let's talk about how not to criticize something. Because with recent events, I feel like everyone needs a good reminder and a good discussion about what's good and what's bad criticism.
And Andy, if you are
Yeah.
a teacher, how should you criticize your students who are struggling with maths?
Yeah. Oh, great sensei of the math.
Yes,
Do you
adults,
say
gather
that
around
their
me.
stupidity infuriates you? Is that a good thing to do?
Yes.
Yes, what a way.
I guess I don't know. So crazy. I'm a major in computer science, but I'm also a minor in communications, which is I don't know, kind of crazy. But I took a class that one of the very large points was like how to give feedback. And I think it's like there's a lot of things to consider when giving feedback. I think like the best thing is like, especially if you're like working on a team with work or something like that, if you know the person, you can kind of personalize feedback for them. So like one of my teacher, I forget the saying my teacher used, but she was like something like you need like a little bit of sugar to get the hard, like the meds to go down, or something like that. Like like you need to like
a spoonful of sugar.
yeah, a spoonful of sugar to, I forget the second part of the saying, but part like the point really is that some people like need to hear like the positive thing before they hear the negative thing, or they at least need the positive thing packaged with the negative thing so it doesn't feel horrible. Some people, like if you're giving feedback to me,
Compliment sandwich.
yeah, compliment sandwich is another way of putting it. Is like you could tell me feedback, like honestly, like if you give me the compliment and then you give me the feedback, like I'll just completely ignore the feedback and say, oh, okay, I'm okay. Like look at the compliment I got. Like, and so that's why like I need the feedback like flat out. Like I want to know what I did wrong and I want to know what you think I can do to fix it. But like we're all in an online space and we don't really know, like you're just random person to, you know, Like you don't know
You don't know who you're talking to.
You don't know who you're talking to. And like so that's why I also like kind of default to like a compliment sandwich type of thing. But also
Yeah.
I think
Especially because you also can't read tone.
yeah.
Nope.
I think another thing is like well, two things is number one, your feedback has to be in good faith, and number two, your feedback has to be nuanced, which I think is two things that a lot of people miss out on. And I'll let you guys talk about it because I feel like I've been yapping for a while.
No, you're good. You're good. You're absolutely. I mean, a lot of
You're more
a lot of
knowledgeable
what I
than
would
the
have
rest
thought.
of us.
A lot of what I would have thought to say is a lot of what you said. Honestly, like you've got to make sure that like you emphasize like, hey, these are things that I liked. There were some things that like, yeah, probably could have been a little bit better, but I like where your head's at, or I'm not sure where your head's at. This is how I kind of received X, Y, and Z. Or like, these things were a little unclear to me. Do you think you can help me understand? Sometimes there's that level of like, oh, what is it? Where you ask how, like, there's a way to make a request where it's elevating them as elevating the other person as the authority of the situation, where it makes them feel better.
Where you can do something like, you know, like, I'm not super educated or understanding on this subject and you might know better, but here's what I like think.
Yeah.
He's
Like
just
share your
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And then it's also the duty of the people who like get the feedback to sort through it and like filter out the stuff that isn't particularly right.
And that's
Yeah.
another thing, like that's another thing that was a big thing in communications, like learn how to like take feedback, right?
But you also don't have to listen to every single piece of feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there are some people that just talk out their ass.
Yeah.
Sometimes even people who mean well are talking out of their ass when they don't realize it.
Or like, especially if you complain about like, oh, the odds are too low for this, they could have just been extremely unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Cade said about feedback is a very good, nice, safe way to do it. Where I work, we need to do like counselings with students, and we give them feedback about how their progress are going for the students, how their learning progress is, and they give us a little, almost like a template of how to follow. Like, first sentence do this, second sentence do this, and it's just again what Cade said about a little compliment sandwich. You tell them what they're doing well, what they need to continue working on, and then you tell them how exactly they could work on them. And I think that is also a big thing about feedback, is not just saying, hey, this sucks, but saying like, it would work better if you did this instead, especially for fan games, not just being like, oh, this was really unfun. Being
This
like,
was
oh,
bad. Go play another game.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Being like,
also-
oh, if you did this, it would be more smooth. And then also like Ked was saying, if you do know the person, you can be a bit more personal with it, or if you've got more of a personal relation with the work you're playing, you can make a comment that will let them know that, hey, you're actually paying attention to what they're doing,
Yeah.
and they'll
No.
appreciate that.
I think it's also
also
like
just-
important, like, this is more like receiving feedback, right? Is that just like how when you're giving feedback, you can understand how that person wants to receive the feedback. When you're receiving feedback, you can, like, even, this might not be a great thing to do, so I'm not recommending this, but well, if you do know the person, then you might know more how they give feedback. But also, if you don't know the person and they're giving like extremely blunt feedback and stuff like that, I think it's really important. And this is a really tough thing to do, and sometimes it's not always the right thing to do as well. But I think sometimes it's like very important to understand that, hey, might be the way this person gives feedback. It's very blunt, straight to the point. It's not the way I'd want to receive it, maybe, but this is how, like, I have to deal with the feedback the way it came in.
Yeah, kind of like, I remember, I don't give feedback to games most of the time, a lot of the times just because I don't play many games, but I very much believe in giving feedback. Please, if you play a fan game, give them feedback. It really does help the developer a lot. In my case, I pay attention to every bit of feedback I got, and I really use feedback in order to improve the way I did. But like one time I tried to give feedback, and I was a little harsh. I did start with positives because I also hate being a negative Nancy, but I was like, I'm not gonna lie about my experience. I'm going to still say the nice things because there weren't parts I did like about the game. I started with some good things, then I talked about the negative parts of my experience, some things that were personally not my favorite, and then at the end of the message, I was like, yeah, these are just my opinions, this is your game, you can ultimately do whatever you want, but I felt you can take whatever, feedback you want to from my message. I hope you have a lovely day. Which I felt was a pretty good message, and I still think it is. The developer did not. And basically it was like, please try and do a little more research into making sure every point you make is valid. Was basically their main gripe. And mainly I was wondering what you guys think about that.
I mean, there's no there's no shame, especially when you're giving feedback, especially if it's not especially if it's not like a black and white definite indefinite type thing where it's like it's okay to be wrong as long as you could understand that you're wrong, be fine, as long as you're fine admitting that you're wrong, then that's fine. The problem obviously comes in where if you think whatever I think is end all be all, that's where we run into problems, right? But it's completely fine. I am totally wrong a lot of the time I give feedback. Obviously, when I'm giving feedback and I am just playing the game, I don't know what went into your development efforts. I don't know what extracurricular activities affected the development of your game, what you think could have definitely impacted what you put out, so many things, and everybody has different opinions. For me, when I'm playing a game that's too difficult, I get really upset when a game's too difficult. That's my one thing that I kind of just freak out on, because I don't know, that's just me. But as an example, I literally rage quit a stream, and I definitely said some things that I probably shouldn't have said at the end of that stream. They weren't mean, but they were, things that came out of my mouth before I thought about them.
Or if a fan game has, for me, it's if a fan game has too much profanity.
That's a personal thing as well. I'd say I agree with you. I don't like unnecessary profanity. But also that is completely up to it's completely up to the dev. It's completely up to the player with how they want to interpret that, and that's where you get you don't need to agree with feedback. But I think at the end of the day, it's okay being wrong with your feedback as long as you're fine admitting that it's wrong. And that's, I think, where you run into the greatest issues. For example, if I were to say I don't like this fan game, or it's really a slog playing this game because there's no speed up feature, and then the dev's oh, by the way, there is speed up, here's the button to use it, then I have to be okay saying, oh, I'm just dumb and stupid and I didn't go read or try to figure out and that's where more feedback can come. If there wasn't enough documentation saying, okay, here's where the speed up button is, then that might be on the dev. But if the thing is just documented well and I didn't pay enough attention, then that's on me, and I have to be okay saying that, oh, whoops, my bad.
Which I did do a follow-up being yeah, these points were wrong, I still stand with these. I think I gave the wrong impression of my kind of person, clarify some things, and didn't get a response back, but also that would be probably weird, because what would you respond?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're sometimes it's just agree to disagree on things, and that's that's how a lot of things are at the end of the day. So
Alright, and now that we've set the groundwork for good and bad criticism, let's talk about our hot takes.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
Who wants to start?
EP sounds like it's got a canon logic, so
Okay.
I mean, I can start if you don't want to.
No, let's go ahead. I'm willing
Okay.
to rip off this band-aid. I even said in our Discord, I guess tonight's the night.
the night.
Back in let's see, May 12th was the first time that I put it into the into this Discord chat, where I said I want to see how long we can go without me talking about my disgust for Pokemon Fusion.
Are you talking about
2
Infinite
weeks later.
Fusion?
Just Fusion in general.
Oh, just
the
Fusion,
concept,
okay.
right?
I genuinely, it just, I admit I have seen some good art of some good fusions. I'll admit that. But do I enjoy fusion as a concept for Pokemon? No. It's one of those things that I genuinely, there's a level of like it. I feel like it's kind of lazy. Like you have a possibility of just creating your own Pokemon, or even going for like convergent evolution, regional variants, and you're just like, no, I'm going to take the head of Slowpoke and put it on Steelix. Like, why is this content? What? No,
Do you like the Kyurem fusions then?
they're okay. Like, they at least made lore for where it kind of makes sense. But
Yeah, I think I'm not as extreme to the extreme end like Ethi is, but I also am not like the biggest fan of fusions. Not that I think the like spriting themselves, like that's fine. Like all of these things look beautiful, but I think where it becomes an issue for me is that a lot of fusion games, end up just being like literal clones of another Pokemon game, and that like the fusions themselves are not worked into like the story at all.
Oh no.
And I think that's
yeah,
that's my biggest issue with them. Like, I'm fine having fusions in your game, and I think the spriters that work on the fusions and the fusions themselves are honestly just gorgeous. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'll still say I've seen some incredible fusion sprites. I'm not gonna deny that. But for like the development standpoint,
And that's the thing, it's like, I feel like with fusion games, most of the, like, good parts of it that people like comes from the work of the spriters, not the developers.
yeah.
Because...
I gotta be honest, I always assumed that the spriters were the developers, so...
Well, okay, but there are
Maybe I'm
also
wrong.
many cases, and this is why I am more on the anti-fusion side, is they will just take fusions from the internet without crediting or permission.
I believe, I don't know, I could be wrong about this. I don't know how many fusion games there are, but at least Infinite Fusion credits, from what I understand. And people like willingly submit their fusions to it.
Yeah. That's my
I'm not
understanding
speaking
as
from-
well.
I'm not speaking from experience, I'm second-hand account here, so
Yeah, I don't...
do not...
I
take
have
me
never
for gospel.
played... I've never played a fusion game, and I mean, it's not something that I find super interesting, so I probably won't. But I
think...
I don't know how these games are developed, but I have massive respect for the spriters who do these things.
Absolutely.
But if you're like a developer, I think you need to put in a little bit more effort to incorporate like a different story and like understanding of like
least.
why fusions are in the game.
Yeah.
And I think...
Like maybe Infinite Fusion has that. I don't know.
Not from
I
my
think it's mostly just
recollection.
Violet, Leaf Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my understanding is as well. But I
I
don't know.
think like it's a cool
If we're
gimmick,
wrong, tell us in the
but-
comments.
Yeah.
but there's nothing more to that. It feels very surface level to me. And like,
I guess I'll
really
be the odd one out because I do quite like the fusion gimmick, and like sometimes I found myself just scrolling YouTube shorts of like these crappy little videos that just show off cool fusions, and I get sucked in for about 10 minutes or so, and I
yeah, but
think it's quite cool.
does that tell you
Um,
anything good about the game? Or is that just like, ooh, that sprite made a good sprite?
Well, I think honestly for me, like even though it is just fire red, leaf green, I think playing it with fusions probably could carry the experience for me. Obviously, I would prefer something more original, something that's built around it. But I think I could still play Infinite Fusion and have a good time just because of how fun I find the fusions to be.
Like,
And I think that's probably more of the like general popular opinion because it is a very popular game, and so I think Eevee's hot take is indeed a hot take.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Pokemon fans love familiarity, whether or not they
Yeah.
know that.
Mhm.
And I think that when the Pokemon are kind of familiar, but they're essentially like Fakemon. So when they're not like super familiar, then I think you get the case where the story itself and the game actually as a whole really is the familiarity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think a better example of kind of this kind of idea of the game is like Gone Fission.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but that's Vision, not Fusion.
but it's
Fusion
Simple.
is a cheap tactic to make weak fan games stronger. Vision, you're taking one thing and actually splitting it up.
yeah,
The
I
only
think
thing
it's
I didn't like about Fission is it also split the HP, which made them super easy to beat.
I
That
think
was, like,
Fission
yeah.
was a very short, like, proof of concept more than anything.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
it still was original.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm saying that to back it in. I'm saying like it didn't need to be a thorough and complete game. I think it was more to just showing off a cool mechanic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was a cool mechanic. I mean, I would have preferred
Yeah.
if the HP wasn't halved, but eh. So
Yeah.
Infinite Fusion, take notes from Gone Fission, please.
just something else really to just like mix it up just a little bit. But I mean, again, it's our opinion, I guess.
Yeah.
Y'all want me to go next, or does someone else want to go next?
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay, so my hot take, and like, I'll obviously preface this by like, because same thing with Fusion. Play whatever game you find enjoyable. Like,
Oh yeah.
do that.
We are not you.
We are not you. But personally, I think enhancement hacks or projects are just boring.
Valid.
I
Valid,
don't get why
fair and
people like
valid.
them.
You
I don't get why
you're
people
not
like
gonna
them.
you're not gonna be better than Drayano, so just stop. Like,
Yeah.
and
Like,
I think I don't know.
If I wanted to play Fire Red, I would just play Fire Red.
No, I like
Exactly.
there's
I will
something to be
say-
said for like games like, again, Drayano I think are interesting because they go to a point where like things are more accessible, things are a bit more difficult,
Mhm.
but it's like, and it's done exceptionally well. And I think my problem is that I think there has been a point, especially with the popularity of like challenge videos and stuff, that everybody wants to go make
So many.
an enhancement hack, and they think, oh, it's gonna be so cool, I'm gonna get like, I think a lot of the motivation for doing that is like YouTube fame as well, and I just think like you're kind of doing it for the wrong reason, and I feel like you're not giving it your full effort just because you want to like get big. Personally,
To me, it's
that's what I feel like the whole enhancement hack
Yeah.
thing
It's the
is
same problem with like Hollywood only doing like adaptations nowadays or sequels or like not really doing anything original. It's
Yeah.
kind of that same thing for me with like enhancement
Mhm.
hacks. It's just like they're just pumping them out. There's so many. They're doing it for fame, but there's not really any substance to them.
Mm-hmm.
There's no passion. There's no creativity. It's just, man.
I will say that I do appreciate like Pokemon Emerald, but you have access to the fairy type and like physical special split. Okay, sure. Yeah, that's a nice addition because that's something that we didn't get in regular Emerald. But then why not just play Oras?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, like, it's not really something I'd play because I'd rather just play like a new fan game. But I do get why they exist, and I think it does fill a gap in the market. I don't know if I want to call it the market, but like there are
they should
people.
exist, but
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
my
like,
biggest
there's just
issue with
too
them
many.
is the like oversaturation of
Right,
Yeah.
um of them. Just because, yeah, I mean, jeez.
Only so many ways you can
There's-
make Emerald better.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
feel like there's just so many of them. And I feel like we're also at the point where like a lot of the new like ROM hack adventures, like new region and stuff like that, they are like getting overshadowed just because there are like legit so many
Mhm.
enhancement hacks.
and honestly, I'm like, do people even care that much about fan games anymore?
That's a question that will throw this entire
Yeah.
podcast into an existential crisis.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not a question that we should be asking. We should
Well, I
be
think it's
saying, of
just
course,
something you have
everybody
to
loves
admit.
fan games.
It's like a niche hobby. Of course, not everyone's
but-
gonna love it. We're in our little swamp.
Oh, I know. But I feel like as of late, it's been dying in popularity compared to where it once was.
I mean, I have my own opinions on that, but I feel like that's literally a subject for like an entire podcast.
Okay,
yeah, that's
I'll save my thoughts.
Yeah, we can save that. You can save that for an episode. I'll keep that question in my pocket. So, Tom, do you
Anyways, yeah, that's
unless-
kind of all
unless
I
you're
got to
done?
say.
Okay.
I don't really have that many hot takes. Like the one hot take that I know all of you are already gonna agree with is just that like I prefer fan games without 8 gyms and that
Yeah.
even go as far as to not have Pokemon battles in them. And that's like a hot take in the big world of Pokemon fan games and what everyone plays because most people like to play stuff like enhancement hacks and stuff with
Reborn.
8 gyms. But yeah, it's not really I feel like it's not a hot take in this conversation here.
I mean, if you like Reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even
Some of that's
Reborn
also,
is-
it was my first. Of course I'm gonna like it. It was my first.
I like Reborn too. I mean, I think what they do to the battle system does change it and make it rather unique because the
Yeah.
focus on fields completely changes how you navigate a battle. So I back that in. But it's just like 8 gym fan games are just like, I don't know. They're fun to play, but I'd much rather something that's not 8 gyms. That maybe doesn't even have Pokemon battles, maybe does something else.
I feel like it's very much a product of like sticking to the core formula. Like there's a lot of developers who very much want to like just stick to the core formula, and gyms is part of that formula. And I think it's probably like it's one of the kind of it's like I don't know, it's one of the most obvious things that you can point at and say like this is this
not
is a
a
Pokemon game, and it's also one of the big things you can point at that says this is a Pokemon game, but I don't really like it because it's so formulaic.
Yeah. But I guess, like, if you're presenting your fan game to people who aren't as deep in the fan game swamp as us, being able to say, hey, this is my fan game, and it has 8 gyms, that's like, immediately they know, oh, this is a full game, this is going to be a full experience. But yeah. Other than that, I mean, what's my hot take? I don't care about overworld shadows.
Oh, come on, Tom.
I actually don't think that's as much as me and Wolf love talking about. Not even talking about. I just want to see them. I honestly could not.
Yeah.
I really don't want to talk about them. Actually, it's just me and Wolf are so particular about them that probably people watching this podcast thinks everybody is. I actually don't think it's that. I actually don't think it's that big of a deal in greater fan games.
Yeah, well, then I'm safe, thankfully.
Okay. Well,
I have a meme that I just put in.
Yeah, I
I
saw
saw
Put
that.
in the chat because
It's very relevant.
very relevant. One of my mods, Crimson, he sends me memes after watching each episode of.
oh, you haven't sent us the many of them.
Oh, well, here's the other one that he sent me for the week.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's my curtains, and that's just black and blue, is it not?
Or are they white and gold?
Oh god.
White and gold.
I see blue. I see blue. Please.
We're not getting tricked into this.
Oh god. All right.
I've also literally
I
seen.
ripped out my headphones.
Actually, I'm not gonna bring that up. Who do we have one more hot take,
That's
right?
too hard.
We got handies.
So, I mean, you guys heard me episode 1.
Which I feel like you said a lot of hot takes. So
Yeah.
like, yeah.
When it comes to fan games,
Probably.
At least a few.
Probably.
I have the memory of an eggplant, so I don't remember.
I mean, obviously there was the far-fetched hot
Oh
take.
yeah,
yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
a hot take.
Crimson and Cobalt, I have a hot take about that, apparently.
Interesting.
Basically, I just felt like I had a lot of unnecessary profanity. It just wasn't my thing.
Fair.
So what's your hot take you've picked for today?
I mean, I'm gonna do one small one and then... The thing is, what's weird, you guys were like, you have so many hot takes, I could not really think of any.
I guess you don't even know they're hot.
I mean, it's
They're just
like I think it's that.
Because to me,
I
it
don't-
just feels right.
Like I don't have that many hot takes. I feel like, though, like
just have
enhancement
one.
hacks are kind of just my one.
For me, okay. One small one that I can talk about before I go into a big one is, this is more development side. I hate outdoor mapping, I love indoor mapping.
I hate.
Oh yeah,
mapping.
that's a weird one. That's
Indoor
also a
I'm
mapping?
weird
not a
one.
developer, so I don't know.
Indoor mapping is so fun, and outdoor mapping, ugh. I dread it. Every time. Like route design, ugh.
I just don't like mapping. I'm just not like. I always make my maps too big. I'm not good at it. It takes like an unnecessarily long amount of time. I feel like for me to just make them. I don't know.
Mapping's like the only part of game development I enjoy. Maybe that's a lie, but I definitely enjoy it the most.
No, like, I remember I messaged Tom this, like, when I was making Broken, I got, like, too carried away making indoor maps, and I made too many for this one area.
Yeah,
I
indoor
was like-
maps I do not care for.
Why? Why, Tom?
Because, like, people just walk in, they talk to the NPC, they get out, like, what are you going to do? You're going to make 2 rooms instead of 1 room? You're going to put a bed there
What?
instead of a bed on the
Okay.
other side of a room?
No,
Like,
Tom.
I
Is
don't
that
care.
why TPCI just took them out completely in Scarlet and Violet?
Maybe they were onto
No.
something, you know? Maybe
No!
they
No!
freaking-
Tom, shut the fuck up!
Wow. Okay, Andy, explain yourself. Why are indoor maps so important?
Indoor maps are so important because they bring us such an inside look into people's lives. Like, when I made all the indoor maps for Abstract in a single day, I spent, like, my heart and soul in, like, making unique and different houses to really symbolize, like, because Abstract was all about the differences of people, and so I really wanted that to show through the houses, and everyone having their unique houses, and, like, different arrangements, different shapes, And that was really fun. For me, like, indoor mapping, it's almost like a nice challenge, but the importance of having indoor maps in Pokemon games, it lets you be able to breathe in the world, to be able to, like, explore the people. And yes, I think you should be able to break into people's houses. Is that so wrong?
I should say
I
I do
mean,
I do like
legally,
indoor maps
yes.
in Pokemon games.
But I
I'm
don't
not
know.
like for removal of it.
Yeah, like, to me, just, like, removing houses altogether, it just makes all the cities feel way more empty, way more lifeless.
No,
way
as
more
as a
just, like,
player, I love indoor maps. I like
Yeah.
personally, I just don't like mapping, so I probably should not even be commenting on this at all. But I think like as a player, especially in Scarlet and Violet, it literally just feels like the cities are just like husks. Like you literally
Yeah.
Yeah.
cannot do anything inside of them other than
They
heal
are
your
very
Pokemon
important.
and battle the gym. And I think like indoor maps are a very large thing in terms of like spicing up a city.
Exactly, and you can make, like, indoor maps that look really good, and I'm very impressed when I do see indoor maps that look really good. And I'm really proud of myself when I make indoor maps that look really good. Like, here, let me see if I can find... There's this one house I made for Iron Memory that I absolutely love. Where is it? The viewers won't be able to see it, but I can at least show you guys. I don't know, just, like, how I laid out the map and the coziness of it. That's the main thing, like, indoor maps, like, bring a nice sense of comfort and coziness if you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess that's my hot take. I like indoor mapping, probably to an obsessive degree. I like everything to an obsessive degree, let's be honest. I either, like, hate it to an obsessive degree or love it to an obsessive degree. I have no middle ground.
Welcome to the internet.
Yep.
But, okay. I guess, oh, this is gonna sound so egotistical. But it's the closest thing I can think of to a hot take. Hito a Broken Story is underrated.
I mean, I can agree with both ends of that, where yes, egotistical, and yes, I agree it is underrated.
That is like oh that is a good map. That is a good map. I forget that
Yeah.
Hito's
Yeah.
Gen. I think also like
Oh no,
the
this is
higher
not
up you go in
but,
gens, the better looking houses can like indoor maps can get. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's an aside.
Yeah.
I think the not a problem with Hito, just the unfortunate timing of Hito really impacts it because you had two overworld combat games in the same jam. Hito was one of
Yeah.
them, and then Pivot was the other one. And like Pivot is like probably the best overworld battler Pokemon fan game type thing that we have.
Well,
and
don't you remember
debatable.
what we talked about the other time?
well,
Have we
I'm
talked
just
about it?
off the top of my head. What else? Oh.
The one
Reloaded.
that Ronco wrote about?
Reloaded.
Reloaded.
Oh yeah, Reloaded's Reloaded. Yeah, I got yeah.
Honestly,
that's good.
I like the Hito combat better than the Pivot one. The long range attack just feels so clunky in Pivot. to
Yeah,
me.
I think, and my other thing on Hito is that like it wasn't completed, and I feel like very story centric, I guess. So like we just didn't really get a good conclusion, I guess, to it.
Yeah, that is the one fan game that I started in Jam and didn't complete. I was able to get a released version out somehow, even though I guess I could, like, I honestly should not have participated in that jam. I was doing way too much. I was a lead in a ballet. I was, like, taking my driving test during those months. We were moving out. There was a lot going on during those, like, 3 months that we were doing that jam. And Vendely was also pretty busy. So we just, like, we pretty much made the whole combat system in a week. And I really like it. Like, I remember, like, just going through that first route area. Every time I do it, I don't know, it just feels magical to me. There's no other way to explain it. And that is one. And when I say underrated, I'm like, honestly, looking back, I'm surprised it didn't get a spotlight, even though I look back on it, there are many faults. I look back at it and I'm probably the most disappointed in that game out of any of my games. Because it could have been so much better. I did not hold up my deal and my duty as the developer of that project. I did not do as good as I could have. But I still feel like there were a lot of interesting concepts. It was a very interesting battle system with some really good combat, and it really fell to the wayside. Even though, like, I had Vendely on my team, who's a really talented scripter, who did an excellent job. I don't know. I feel like if I, like, gloat about it too much more, I'm just gonna sound pathetic, so I'm gonna stop. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. And like that, especially that and Broken were like the 2 games where I like previous to that, I didn't really make games expecting and wanting people to like them because I wasn't at that state. I was like, I'm just playing them to improve, like making them to improve. It was like Broken and Hito where I really tried to make a good game, and that's why it stung the most for those when it didn't end up that way. I don't know, do you have anything to say, Tom?
So, I just had to go pick up a package from my door, but I'm back now. Well, I think I do get what you say, Andy, about it being underrated. I think that it's mostly like just a thing that happens when you're not in a great headspace and you put a ton of effort into fan game, because every single fan game that's made, at least nearly every single fan game that's made, requires an immense amount of effort, and everybody puts in so much heart, and it's completely like devastating to people, I feel like, to put just that much effort and heart into something. I feel like honestly 99% of jam games are underrated. It's not just a Hito thing, it's not just a Broken thing.
Definitely.
I think it is nearly every single jam game that experiences something very similar. I mean, if we look back at the past jams, how many games can you think of that actually did get a decent amount of attention? And then how many games total were there in that jam?
True.
The number is completely different. We're talking about like probably over 100 games that are nearly forgotten about by nearly everybody, but all probably had over 100 hours of effort put in, probably tears put into like 80% of them, probably sweat into 100% of them. It's just like how things are here. And maybe it's incredibly sad to think about it that way, but
Well, but that's also...
yeah.
I would say this is a self-plug, but I'm not involved in it anymore. That's why I started the Insert Name Jam. Because there is kind of that problem with game jams of, like, lots of them do get swept under the rug. And, like, a sad thought that I had because of how the community has gotten. I'm like, if I joined the community now, would I have been able to improve the way I had back then? Could there be another story like there was with me now? Is that possible? I don't think it is in the
I think
state
it's something
it's at.
inevitable. Like, I don't know. I think it's just part of how it is. And it's not something that I think needs to be fixed, because I don't think it is something that can be fixed. I think it's just something we have to understand and be sensitive about.
I think it... In the sense, and this is why I hope the Insert Name Jam continues, it's like, by like...
But I think... Let's
I feel
see.
like that was almost
I think
like the perfect
I think
solution.
every game in Insert Name Jam, except maybe Glacial Chronicles and Iron Memory, I think they were all underrated except for those 2.
Really?
I think Terrarium was super cool. Haven't seen that many people talk about it. Season Stone, that was a Cerubia game, and Cerubia is a very well-respected dev, but I have not seen many people talk about Season Stone. And it's probably one of my favorite things she's made. Family Restaurant, loved it a lot. Never This Again, a dev that I respect a lot and always makes good games. Have not seen many people talk about it. I'd still call that underrated. It's just how things are, sadly. And that's why I think it's so important to leave comments on threads when you play someone's game, so that they know that, like, there's someone there who played their game and actually cares about what they made.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends then what we describe as underrated. Because, like, every game in the Insert Name Jam had me streaming it, Kate streaming it, Nan streaming it, Kenny streaming it,
I
you
think though,
streaming
like,
it.
like, I think, like, games can be, because, like, I think all the Insert Name Jams were, like, probably, like, popular in our circle, but when we talk about games that, like, I don't know, terms of underrated get thrown out a lot, and I think underrated can also be, like, a synonym, at least sometimes, in terms of, like, popularity, and I think, like, once a game gets outside of, like, our circle in terms of, like, a Voltsy or somebody else of that kind of stature playing it, then, like, then it might not get rated properly, but I think, like, you get to the point,
It gets out there a little bit.
it gets out
Oh
there
yeah,
a little
Volty
bit more,
also played them.
and I think that's kind of, like, a problem with jams in general, is that, like, there's so many games released at the same time, but, like, I still think jams are a great idea, don't get me wrong, but I just think, like,
Oh yeah.
it's just a consequence of having a jam. In terms of being, like, underrated, though, I mean,
Voltsy
I
didn't
feel like
play
once-
every Insert Name Jam.
No, he did play a
He
lot
didn't-
of them though.
he played a good amount of them, but I think, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like even like Hues of Harmony.
Yeah, I think there were definitely some, though, that I understand, and I can see how, like, a lot of the games in the Insert Name Jam are definitely underrated. But, like,
could see
obviously rating is a different kind of bar for everybody, so.
Well, but that's also, I really wanted, it didn't end up happening because all the judges were busy. I really wanted, like, all the judges to post on the threads and, like, detailed criticism to hopefully, like, counteract that so that you got at least, like, 6 guaranteed players to give their feedback to you, which is more than the Relic Castle jams. I love them,
I
but
think
there are some that,
you had a lot of us streaming them, so I mean, like, for
Yeah.
me, I think, I don't know, this is more just like a conversation, but, like, if you watch my stream, you'll know what I liked and didn't like about a game.
because when I think, like, underrated, like, Digging for Silver, have you guys played that?
I have.
I've not.
I didn't get the chance to play any of the Insert Name Jam games when they
Well, this
came
was
out.
Relic Castle game jam.
It's
Oh.
very funny. There's a very buff Togekiss in it. But yeah.
Oh, I haven't even heard of this before. Pokemon X Plasma.
Played that one too?
No,
That was
I
from
don't
most
think you can
recent
play that
jam?
game. I don't think you can play that game. I think that game crashes
Oh.
pretty quickly. I tried to play that
Yeah,
game.
it
and-
crashed in like the first 12
Oh
seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I just edited the event and kept on going.
Well,
Oh.
when I know that going in, I'm not about to play that fan game. It looks great though.
Well, I haven't seen any of I can't see the screenshots anymore, so I can't speak on that. What else? Pokemon, well, no, you've all played Pokemon Dungeons.
But
Metal
Andy, like I
Gear
get the
Live-
point you're trying to make, but if you ask this to someone else on EV Expo and say, do you know Not Mansion Mystery? They're not going to know that. If you say, do you know Shattered Seasons? They're not going to know that.
Yeah. I mean, that was also
It's just
sort of a
a-
problem with the Insert Name Jam not gaining popularity.
Well, I don't
which
think it's
could
a
be.
problem that can be solved. I think if you gain popularity, the problem's just going to get bigger because you're going to have more fan games.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not really something that gets solved, I think. Just something to be sensitive to.
Hmm.
But it is what it is. Did we have any
Yeah.
final points to wrap up on?
Timberwolves just lost. They're down 0-3.
What a shame.
They have to go 4 straight to win, and this team lost in the clutch. They were up by like 3 or 4 points with like 5 minutes left, I swear, and like they lost by like 11 or 12 points. How do you have that much of a point swing in like in that little time. Sorry, I will stop ranting. I'll just if we stop recording, I'll just leave the call and go cry. But I'm just kidding. I'm not that emotionally invested. JK.
Yeah.
Unless.
Unless.
No,
Unless,
I'm definitely
is he
too
here?
emotionally invested, but it's whatever. So yeah, if you were watching the screen and you saw me probably go through a roller coaster of emotions in the past like 10 or 15 minutes, I apologize, but that's what I was going through. It was not a reaction to whatever like anybody else was saying.
Yeah, there were definitely some interesting topics we talked about today, I feel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think if you remember anything, like remember how to give feedback, like please. It's
Yeah.
also something that like, you know,
Please.
you got to practice. Like I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I feel like I'm like pretty decent at giving feedback, and like it's literally because I play like far too many fan games for my own good. So like,
And like,
you know,
another example of it
with practice.
of people not doing it well was back when we were doing abstract. Me and Nan got so pissed at like this very vocal group of people that like, okay, they were critiquing this one gym puzzle, which was fair. A lot of people, you know, found it way too hard. All right, but they were so like demanding about like, you need to fix this now, and just like messaging us over and over and over. And I was like, it almost made me not want to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, also, if you give feedback, be nice. Don't hound them. They're people. They have lives. They're busy. Mostly.
Usually.
I guess that also goes into somewhat what Kate. I mean, we're looping back on the conversation
Yeah,
here.
sorry,
almost
we don't
because
have to
wrapping
keep
up.
talking about
But
this.
what Kate was saying about like being able to understand where the feedback is coming from and being able to like judge it for yourself and kind of peer between the lines of, hey, okay, so this person is obviously just a bit angry with their message. What's the actual feedback they're trying to give?
Mhm.
If I'm trying to take something constructive out of this, they're saying that the gym puzzle is just a bit hard and inaccessible. Okay, so if I just ignore all the other bad words they said to me, then maybe I can take something and do something with that.
Which we
But
did
yeah.
make it easier.
There you go. Okay, Ify, to close out on, do you have anything fun to talk about, like clones and belly buttons, or are we out of that kind of stuff?
Oh my god.
Not that I can think of. Unless you want me to confirm that I do have a belly button, like my Vroid model does have a belly button.
Ooh,
Why
is
do we
it
need
an
that?
innie or an outie?
It's an innie.
It's an innie.
Why-
Can we
why
take
would
a
the model
survey
need
here?
that?
Because I do have one. I have one model that is slightly not shirt like. What is it? It's like
Japanese culture.
just an overshirt, but it's open in the middle.
Oh, I know what you mean. Just an unbuttoned shirt, yeah.
Yeah. Just an open I don't know,
Overshirt,
I
I
guess
think is the correct word.
I guess
yeah.
if you're watching stream you'll or not stream if you're watching the video you'll see what I'm wearing. I just swapped to it real fast so you can understand like I do have a there's a belly button
Maybe
under
I
here.
need to restrict the video.
Nah.
No,
I don't have
Why?
my nipples aren't showing or anything. Just
Oh, how disappointing.
So there, I am confirmed to have a belly button.
There you go.
Okay.
So you're not a clone. I'm happy
I'm not
to
a
hear it.
clone.
Okay, well, I guess thank you everybody for watching. We'll probably end it on that note.
We always have to end it on belly buttons.
Of course.
Or something fun.
Yeah.
Alright.
Do you want to do the official sign out, Andy, since you sign us in every time?
I mean, you guys can also sign in.
All right, thanks everybody for watching. We will all see you next week for more exciting fan game and non-fan game discussion. Goodbye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.